Hello everybody, and welcome back to Build a Battle MTG. If you're new, my name is Austin, and Build a Battle MTG just hit 300 subscribers today, so that's great. Thank you guys so much for that. Anyways, today's video is on 5 of my favorite commander cards that are just really fun to play and also really powerful. So yeah, nothing on this list is like crazy expensive, nothing over probably $5 is the most expensive card I think on here. Yeah. Alright, so let's start with Unnatural Growth. Growth, not growth. So yeah, this is the most expensive card on the list at $6.22 market price, but it is totally worth it. So let me explain why this is one of my favorite cards. So for 4 green and 1, which is pretty heavy on the green, but we'll talk about that. It's an enchantment. At the beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. So, there's a lot of green decks that want to just, let's say make tokens, for example, or just pump out giant creatures, and swing in for combat damage. For example, my Finn the Fane Bear deck, you attack a lot in there. So I definitely put this in there already. I pulled one from a pack, so that's great. But yeah, so notice it says each combat, so it's on your combat, your opponent's combat as well. So for blockers, you're gonna have giant blockers, giant attackers. And in like creature heavy decks, this card's just busted. It makes all your creatures into giant threats, basically giving them like a Craterhoof Behemoth effect every combat, which is just crazy in my opinion. So yeah, that's why this card's on here. Not much else to say, just make your creatures giant and smash face. Alright, next up we got Moonsilver Key coming in at market price $130. So this is a 2-drop artifact, and you can pay 1, tap it, sacrifice Moonsilver Key, search your library for an artifact card with a mana ability or a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. So just in case you guys didn't know, a mana ability is an activated ability that creates mana. So for example, Soul Ring, it taps for 2 colorless mana. That is a mana ability. So reasons why I think this card is good. Since you're playing this in Commander, you're gonna have a lot of valid targets for the artifact card with a mana ability, such as Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Mind Stone, Hedron Archive, just all those artifacts that tap for lands. In addition to that, it can also go get a basic land card, so if you're behind on land drops, you drop that. And let's just say, like an example, you play this turn 2, next turn 3, you crack it, you go get a Soul Ring, then you can play that. And then the next turn you have access to 6 mana, and that's without any additional ramp. But also, you play this turn 2, turn 3, you go get Soul Ring, then you tap Soul Ring and that other land or the other 2 lands that you have, to play another ramp spell or, anything that you want to. That just has a lot of potential in my eyes. So yeah, that's why I think this card is great. Definitely pick it up while it's $1 because I could see this definitely rise in price. Next up, we have Raven Form. So Raven Form is for a blue and 2. It's a sorcery, exile target artifact or creature. Its controller creates a 1/1 blue bird creature token with flying, and it has Foretell for blue, which means during your turn you may pay 2, exile this card from your hand face down, cast it on a later turn for its Foretell cost. So, reasons why I think this card's great. First of all, it can hit 2 targets. It hits creatures and artifacts, so that's great. It's cheap for 3. That's really good. But also, early game, just foretell this out and have it for whenever. Your opponents might know what you're foretelling out because there's not a ton of foretell cards that you're playing, so just keep that in mind. Also, it does exile, so you can get around indestructibility and things like that. And yeah, then them getting a 1/1 blue bird token with flying is not really relevant in Commander in like any way. So that downside's like not even relevant. It hits 2 targets. It's really good. You can foretell it. Yeah, just a good card. Great removal card. Next up, we have Dire Strain Rampage. And I've been excited to talk about this card for a while now. So, it's a 1, a red, and a green, so 3, sorcery, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or land. So first of all, that's hitting 3 targets, or 3, it can hit 3 targets in one card for 3. That's great. If a land was destroyed this way, its controller may search their library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Otherwise, its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Flashback 5. Wow, this card is amazing in my opinion, and let me tell you why. So, first of all, it has a ton of versatility, being able to hit an artifact, an enchantment, or a land. In addition to that, if you just blow up your own land, it's a ramp spell because you destroy your land and then you get 2 out of it. Alright, so let's say you play this turn 3, blow up your land, go get 2 lands, and then you just have this in your graveyard. It has flashback. You can cast this card twice. That's insane to me. You could double ramp off this card, you could ramp off it, leave it in your graveyard, destroy 2 of your opponent's things, or vice versa. The only downside to this is that your opponent is going to get a land if you do hit their stuff, but most of the time, when you're using a removal spell, you don't really care if your opponent gets a basic land because the target that you destroyed was way more powerful than that upside. So just the versatility alone on this card just makes it great in my opinion. Definitely pick this card up. I think it's amazing. And the last card on this list is Morbid, Opportunist for 2 and a black. So for 3, you get a creature, human rogue, 1/3. Whenever 1 or more creatures die, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. So this card's great because obviously in a game of Commander, creatures are dying all the time. Creatures die to removal, creatures die from attacking, decks sacrifice creatures, aristocrats decks. If you are running an aristocrats deck, throw this in there, you're going to draw a bunch of cards. Just for 3 mana, this card's insane. It does only trigger once per turn, but just think of this in like a Chatterfane deck, for say. So you're going to have a bunch of tokens. That's already a bunch of creatures that are going to be dying from attacking, chump, blocking, sacrificing it to Chatterfane himself. And Chatterfane's ability is instant speed, so you can just draw whenever you want, essentially, for 1 black. But it's not just your creatures. It's whenever 1 or more other creatures die. So your opponent's creatures are dying all the time throughout the game. You might not realize how many creatures die in 1 turn rotation, but it is a ton. You're going to be drawing a bunch of cards off this, especially if your opponents play aristocrats. Throw this in your deck. Bunch of value for just 3. I think it's a great card. And that is it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.